Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much. So just a little bit about what's going to happen today. I'm going to walk you through the presentation for roughly 20-25 minutes, and interdispersed in the presentation will be some videos as well. So hopefully you don't have to listen to me talking all the way through, and I hope you enjoy it. So just before I start, the marketing team have asked me to remind you that there is an opportunity to win a virtual reality PlayStation. You can either come and visit our stand or simply text IRX 18 to 60505 for your chance to win. So let's talk a little bit about mGage, who we are. mGage are a mobile engagement company. We allow customers to engage with their customers through the humble smartphone. We are what we call a tier 1 aggregator. We use SMS predominantly, but not exclusively. And we have platinum partnerships with over 550 mobile network operators. We've been around roughly for about 17 years. We've got a very loyal customer base. Many have been with us for over a decade or more. And just to give you some idea of the scale of the operation, we have 40 billion interactions every year. And that translates to 20 million SMS messages per hour. So just here is a sample of some of our customers. This is across the globe, but if I just pull out a few that are relevant to the retail industry, you can see Argos, O2, Vodafone, Screwfix and Sainsbury's, to name a few. And we have a splattering of financial customers and charities. So let's just talk a little bit about mobile messaging and why it's important. Let's talk about the smartphone. I think it's fair to say that the smartphone has become ubiquitous. It's everywhere we go. If my commute from Surrey into London every day is to go by, I often see people fixated with their smartphone. And even as you're navigating my way through Waterloo Station, through the human chicanes, as people are trying to read their messages as they go through, it's quite a challenge. What's important about SMS is that it's an immediate channel. And what research tells us is that 91% of SMS messages are opened within 3 minutes. And we as individuals spend roughly 2 hours on our mobile phones every day, which seems about right. So what are we here to talk about today? I'm going to try and focus on 5 areas for us this morning. So I'm going to look at the contact center. We're going to talk about chatbots. I'm going to spend a little bit of time focusing on loyalty. And then I'm going to move on to click and collect. And then as a finale, we're going to talk about RCS, or Rich Communication Services. So let's start the process with the contact center. So what we found with the contact center is that if people augment their contact center through using SMS, it can do quite a number of things. One, it can increase satisfaction, it can decrease cost, and it can leverage their existing infrastructure. These statistics at the bottom are real statistics from an American company. They are a well-known credit card company, and these are real savings that they made in utilizing SMS for their contact center. So they were able to reduce their cost by 25%, and they were able to increase customer satisfaction by 65%. One of the reasons why SMS is a preferred channel is that some of the cost benefits are really tangible. So what we find is, what research tells us is that typically to service a call is between £6 and £20. Being able to do that through SMS, roughly between £2 and £5. You can see straight away there's a big saving there. And also because it's an immediate and a well-trodden channel of communication, that we've seen that satisfaction rates are up to 73%. Also, being able to use text chat means that the agents are not tied down on a call. They can service any number of clients at any one time, and there are 6 real benefits. So you actually need less people in your center. Obviously, we just talked about the cost reduction. People don't have to wait for an agent to come free. It's immediate and spontaneous. What we've found is that it drives new sales, as people actually enjoy that whole experience. I'm going to do that again. I like this company. I'm going to work more with them. And it provides personalized interaction. And most importantly, it's timely and relevant. And we find it works. So the next thing I want to talk about is chatbots. I'm just going to start by showing you a short video.
mGage provides a mobile concierge service to help your customers engage with you, or you engage with them, whenever and wherever they are. This can be done using mGage's Communicate Pro product and enables your staff to interact with customers remotely through our mobile text chat console. Or using our chatbot technology, which requires no human assistance with your customers at all. This is great to provide improved customer relations and also catches additional sales for you. It's particularly useful if all your customer representatives are busy, or your busy customers don't have the time for pleasantries. It can be used to decrease your overhead of sales staff, and it's a nice point of differentiation for your business. mGage works with thousands of well-known brands across multiple different verticals who are using our products and technology today. For more than 16 years, we've been connected to over 500 mobile operators and selected partners, which makes us able to provide world-class services globally and locally for your business to your customers. Text, email, or visit us at mgage.com to hear more.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about chatbots. I'm sure that many of you in the room are familiar with this technology. It's something that's becoming more and more prevalent. And what it does is it automates the whole process. So there's no human interaction needed, there's no assistance. It's real time, it's immediate. And it actually improves customer relations because it reduces queue time, you can actually service many customers simultaneously, and it just makes you more efficient. Again, we've found that it drives sales, it drives the sales process as people are satisfied with your product set. And for those of you the insomniacs in the room, it's available 24/7. And also it's discreet and confidential. So we find that it works out really well. Here's some two examples here that the flow. On the left, we've got a typical retail chain. There's some information about a particular pair of jeans or some things about an outfit. And on the right, we have some flows for Sephora, who do perfumes and lipsticks and other items. So you can see quite clearly and quite quickly how we're able to have quite a reasonable conversation with your customers, and it makes it unique to them, and it feels as if it's a one-to-one conversation. So let's just talk a little bit now around some of the stats behind chatbots. 45% of customers will choose messaging over waiting in a queue. Why would you? Why want to listen to some rubbish music for 5 minutes? 80% of brands tell us that they'll be using chatbots by the year 2020, and 6% feel comfortable talking with a chatbot. And what we're seeing is there's going to be a year-on-year increase of about 35% all the way through into 2023. So that's chatbots. I'd now like to talk to you a little bit about loyalty and how you retain and reward your customers. So SMS can be used in many different ways. It can be used to reward your customers for being loyal. It can provide them with coupons. It can provide them with discount vouchers and any number of special events. Here is an example of the flow of some conversations that are real conversations that have taken place. You can see that there are a number of things. All again, it's for retailers. There's some different examples. In the third slide, there's a smart code for a voucher, but it's really quite versatile. You know, I often say to the team and to customers that SMS isn't particularly sexy, but it's very versatile. There are any number of things you can do with it. So let's now move on. I'd like to talk to you about click and collect. So mGage has been privileged to have had Argos as a customer for over 7 years, and last year, you're probably aware, in 2017, they merged with Sainsbury's to create the Sainsbury's Argos group. At the time, we provided Argos, and they had 2 other suppliers around the rest of their business. They went out to tender, and we were fortunate enough to win all the business for the Sainsbury's Argos group, and we're now their preferred supplier. So here's an example of how Somebody walks into a store, they go into their Argos, they order an event, and this is how the click and collect system works. First thing that happens is that it connects with their API system, it sends a message direct to the customer's smartphone, and it tells them where their delivery is going to be. It tells them if it's in stock, and it tells them how long it will be held for them. If it's out of stock in a particular store, it will recognise by their postcode where they're from, and it will offer or suggest an alternative location. What it can also do is it can also provide reminders. So normally customers have up to 7 days to collect their goods, and if they haven't collected it, say for 2 or 3 days, there's a reminder that tells them, look, it's still here waiting for you, please come and collect it. So what I'd like to finish on is something that's something we find that's particularly exciting, and I think if you leave the room with one thought today, it's really think about RCS and what it means and how it can revolutionise your business. So we're going to start with another video. Hopefully this will bring it to life for you. Okay, so you may have seen reference in that last slide to Google. Just like to point out that we've been hand-selected by Google as a global partner. We're one of 20 companies that are working on RCS. In fact, all Google smart Android phones will ship with RCS in the background, ready to be turned on in the very near future. We work alongside Vodafone, one of our mobile network operators, working on a pilot scheme, and we actually have some live pilot schemes now with a number of our customers. So let's just do a quick comparison. Let's compare and contrast between traditional technology and the new technology. Before I go into these slides, I think let's think about what RCS is. It's the next generation SMS platform, and what it will do will totally eclipse what we see now as SMS, and SMS will disappear, and this will become the prevalent technology. A lot of you will see that it's quite similar. Many of you may use over-the-top technology like WhatsApp, Facebook, etc., and you'll see quite quickly how a rich experience can be reproduced on your smartphone, whether it's through GIFs, emojis, images, and being able to click through. So on the left is our traditional SMS. You can see straight away that it's quite anonymous. There's just a grey tile with a shortcode number. Compare and contrast that to RCS. You can see there's a real opportunity to promote your brand and promote your corporate colours. Also, SMS traditionally is a one-way interaction. What RCS does is allow it to be a two-way communication. It's a real interactive solution. Also, what it does, it encourages the user to interact more with the phone, and they can do a number of different things by clicking on the tiles or clicks or whatever we're now going to call them. And it makes it a more personal experience. There are also no restrictions. I think with SMS, it's 160 characters. With this, it's fill your boots. So again, let's now look at 5 key reasons why we believe RCS, and not just we believe, that the industry believes that RCS is better. We've touched on the first of these, which is the verified sender, so you can see straight away who the RCS message is from. You see quite clearly it allows you to brand whatever the organisation is. And then where the real powerful thing comes into play is where you have suggested response or actions. And these don't have to be limited. There are many ways you can do this, and you actually encourage the customer to have a real two-way process. Because it's rich media, it's more engaging. People can see videos. They can see things that they use in their everyday life. And actually, it's going to make that whole journey a much more enjoyable experience. Some of the other things we can see, you saw that on the video, we can use QR codes. So for instance, many of you will travel, your smartphone is your constant companion. You don't need a booking ticket or a booking pass, boarding pass even, you just simply show your device and on you go on the plane. And so that's pretty much RCS. What I'd like to do now in finishing, before we go to the Q&A session, is just really talk about 5 key takeaways. So the first thing we talked about was about SMS as a customer service channel, so how you can utilize that in your contact center. So the key is understanding the overall contact center experience and also how SMS messages can help and support and augment that process. We moved on to talk about chatbots. So here it's about analyzing the one-to-one automated mobile messaging and see how that will help and also increase and provide increase sales and improve a better customer experience. We went on to talk about loyalty schemes. Not only do we do loyalty for Argos, we also do the Vodafone Pay Monthly loyalty program, and we found we've been working with those for 7 years. It's a very successful program. But really think about what you're doing for your customers. Think about the offers that you're making, make it pertinent, make it relevant, think about segmentation, and think about your audience. And think about the incentive, make it valuable, really do reward them. Click and collect really needs to be a seamless process. All the mechanics, clever stuff needs to be done in the background, and mobile messaging can really help and support that customer experience. And finally, we talked about next generation SMS messaging, or RCS. So if any of you got time today, please do come and visit the stand. You can come and we can talk about RCS in more depth, and maybe some of you in the room may want to become a trialist and work alongside us. So as a reminder, we talked today about the contact center, we talked about chatbots, we touched on loyalty, we've spoken about click and collect, and finally RCS. So I suppose now it's over to you, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions.
Thank you very much, Sean, for that fascinating talk. Has anyone got a question? Just stick your hand up, sir. Yes.
Sorry, RCS itself.
Have you got a microphone for this chat?
Well, what I'll do is I'll listen and then I'll repeat.
Right.
RCS itself, is that an app which you would install like WhatsApp, or is that on the phone by default?
It's the
Okay,
latter.
so the question is the RCS an app, or is it something you install on your phone?
It's a native application, so it's installed on the phone in the same way that all smartphones have shipped with SMS. RCS will be a component of Android phones in particular, so all smartphones now are shipping with this. Apple are on the fence at the moment, but they're not too far behind. If they look at their market share, 67% of smartphones are Android. iPhones are the remaining share, and they're losing market share. So I think quite soon we'll see iPhone will actually jump on the same bandwagon.
Right. Anyone else? Stick your hands up. I can't see if there's any hands over here. Whilst people are thinking on the next question, I'll ask one, which is, obviously RCS is an emerging technology, and as you said, will replace SMS in due course.
Yep.
What sort of time frame do you think we're talking there?
That's a really good question. So I don't know, how long did it take VHS to replace Betamax? I don't know. I think best guess...
You might have to explain what VHS is to some of the younger players.
Yeah, sorry, you can see I'm getting on a little bit. It was the original video recorders, and I sadly bought a Betamax, which I'll never forget. But no, I think probably, as once it's launched, I think we're probably talking about a 1 to 3 year period. It's all about uptake. I think with something like this, it'll be quite quick, because as people become immersed in new technology, it becomes dominant. If you think about the pace of technology now and how quickly it moves, I think we'll probably find under 2 years, between 2 and 3 years.
Right, any hands? No, come on, this is a rare opportunity.
Did it make sense? Was it interesting? Is it thought-provoking?
Dodgy ground there.
Yes.
And I've got another question. Could you give us some interesting examples of how people are using chatbots on their websites? Who are your sort of most interesting practitioners there?
Yeah, so I think I talked earlier about a famous American finance company. We do all their SMS transactions. They use chatbots through Compro in their centre. And it's just a really simple way of working. It's all automated. It's just done through logic. It's an algorithm. And its real benefit for me is making sure that customers are satisfied quickly. There's no queuing time. It's immediate. It's completely scalable. You know, you're not limited to one agent with one interaction with a person on the phone. They can do as many as they like over the process of time. And what they've seen is, I talked earlier about them being able to save 25% in costs. That's largely due to chatbots.
Thank you. Well, last call for questions. You're right in front of me, yes.
So many retailers set up pop-up stores, and
Can you say that again, sorry?
so many internet retailers set up pop-up stores.
Yeah.
So is it available service to a targeted customer per location?
Per location, location-based services. Yeah. Okay. So there's a couple of things there. What I should say first and foremost is that RCS or SMS isn't here to replace webs or interaction. It's to augment that service. So we do have some ability to push out through the web. We can do some push notifications. So I think it works more alongside it. I think there'll always be a place for web. I think one of the things the beauty about this situation is you don't have to be tethered to a Wi-Fi set, or you're not dependent on a network in particular. So it just helps support. So when you're communicating with your customers, you know, they want an omnichannel experience. So they want to be able to go into your store. They want to be able to go onto your internet site. They want to be able to SMS at any channel whatever channel is their preference. And we think this will just actually revolution that process. Does that help?
We've got another question over here.
Hiya.
Hello.
So, how the GDPR will affect these technologies using for marketing? Are there
GDPR.
any limitations which are coming up?
It might be
Okay.
a good start to explain what GDPR is.
So General Data Protection Regulations. So this is something that emanated through Germany. I'm sure that lots of people in the room will be aware that it's a new EU regulation. And basically it's about how people manage and store people's data. As a company, we've been prepared for GDPR for probably about 18 months. So we've gone through a whole process of qualification with our customers and how our process works. And what we've found is that we're actually in quite a good place, so we're ready to go. What you'll need with GDPR is implicit consent. So people, if retailers are going to go through a particular campaign and they want to use a shortcode or they want to work with their customers, they have to have implicit consent from every single customer for each campaign. Before, it was simply good enough to get consent at the outset and then you continually provide information to them like a bundle. You can't do that anymore. So I think GDPR is a wake-up call for all of us. I think time will tell how important it is. Could it be another year 2000 situation where we thought the world was going to end in 2000 and it didn't? I suspect that we'll all be touched by it. And I wouldn't be surprised if you get a number of enterprising legal companies setting up class actions to try and take advantage of it, like PIP. That's not to make light of the situation, but I'm pretty sure that GDPR is important to everybody in this room, and safe to say that we're already on top of that and fully compliant.
Well, unless anyone's got any more questions, I'll just over here.
Oh, no.
Always at the far end.
Hello.
Regarding the use of chatbots for customer service, do you have any insights sort of generationally? Is it more prevalent for younger users, or is this working as a cross-age?
That's a great question. And as you would expect, and they do some demographics around this because there's some analysis tools, you can see who's using it, and what we find is the millennials are probably used to it, and that's what they expect. But what we're also finding is the older generation are using it, and it's principally because it's immediate. You know, They don't have to have that really tedious process where you're on the phone listening to some horrible music for 5 minutes, and you almost get to that point where you think, bloody hell, I've been in here for 5 minutes, I'm going to tough this out, and then 12 minutes later you're still on the phone waiting to be answered. So I think because it's a medium, because it works, it appeals across the board, but I think it's fair to say the early adopters, the people that like it the most, are the millennials. Does that answer your question? Thank you. You've definitely got a question, haven't you? I can see you smiling. So,
Well, in which case, Sean's going to be around all day. You've got a stall here.
we have a stand. Yeah.
Thank you very much to you, Sean, and also to mGage for sponsoring this Marketplaces stream. And we'll be back a bit later with our B2B sessions. But thanks, Sean.
Thank you.